Brian Wilson, Tori Clark in for Brian Neiman today on the station where Washington comes to talk. And we're going to talk Olympics because we are very pleased to be joined by ABC correspondent Alex Stone, who is live from London. How are you, Alex?
Hey, guys. Good morning. And, did you end up watching the opening ceremony on Friday?
Yeah, we were having a earlier discussion about that and how from our standpoint, it was in ways lacking. What do you think? Were you there in the room?
No, because we're not NBC. We were outside the gates because only NBC can get in. But here people are raving about it. There was a lot of British humor in there, just like there would have been if it was in the U.S. and things that other countries wouldn't have understood. But about half the country here watched it, and it's been getting great ratings around the world. I thought it was pretty good. It not quite as spectacular as what we saw in China, but the lighting of the cauldron was neat. I thought how they did it with the 7 young athletes lighting that massive cauldron of 200 copper petals. They had been taking bets, the bookies here, on who was going to light it, and that was not what anybody had thought. 7 young athletes, unknown. Everybody was betting on one well-known athlete like in past Olympics, so nobody won on that bet.
So, Alex, often cities, with the exception of Beijing probably, but cities often have mixed feelings about taking on the Olympics. And leading up to the Olympics, there are complaints and concerns, and people fuss about the traffic, and locals are getting shut out of tickets and these sorts of things. But once the games get underway, then everybody's in, and everybody says, you know what, this is really great. Now, I might have protested against these Olympics, but I'm glad they're here. How are people in London, in Great Britain, feeling about the Olympics now, a few days in?
Well, Tori, all of those complaints that you just talked about, those are all complaints that people here have had because they were worried about the traffic. The traffic this morning, the first commuting day since the games actually started, wasn't all that bad. People were talking about it was going to be, I'm based in Los Angeles, so we would say Carmageddon in that area, but Commutageddon here. And they thought it would just be horrible. It didn't turn out. There were a couple areas that weren't great. Tonight could be rough around the London Bridge as commuters are trying to get home, and a lot of the events are letting out. But when we got here early last week, you talk to a lot of people, and they would roll their eyes if they were just walking down the street when you say, "Are you excited about the Olympics?" "Oh no, we want it to be over with." Now you don't really hear a lot of that. So I think you're right that. People are getting on board now that it unifies the country and people get excited about it and they see that their life isn't going to end for the 2.5 weeks that it's going on. And now they seem like they're rallying around it.
You know, I've never actually gone to an Olympics, but I've been to big events. Like, for example, the big conventions, the Democratic and Republican conventions, and how everybody gets so afraid of the chaos that is going to come in with the convention, or in this case, the Olympics. And what you find often is that people stay away in droves because they don't. I mean, the restaurants are empty. The hotels are generally full, but commerce that you might expect to come from it often doesn't happen. What's the case in London?
Yeah, very true, and that's what we saw that in Vancouver at the Winter Olympics, and we've seen that here, that a lot of people who live here decided this is a great time to take a vacation, or a holiday here, as they would call it. That if you go around East London, where all of the venues are, which used to be a real rough area of town, but now they're trying to resurrect by building the new Olympic Park and all the venues, that a lot of people have left town, that the apartments are empty. And in fact, ABC News were renting out an apartment that looks at the stadium and Olympic Park that belongs to somebody who is out of town right now. And decided to rent it out during that time. So a lot of folks have decided to do that, just get the heck out of town, not deal with it. But in other areas of the city, and this is a massive city, other areas, people are very much still here, and they're going to work and eating at the restaurants. So it really seems confined to the Olympic area.
And Alex, British athletes are doing pretty well, right? I mean, aren't we seeing the results of about 20 years of a real effort to get world-caliber British athletes?
Yeah, they're definitely trying, and they're doing okay. I think they're 16th on the medal list right now. And last I had, we were in second place. Yeah, we've got, in the U.S. side, 3 overall. No, I take that back. We've got 3 golds. China has 6. So we're in second place in the overall medal count, but still 3 behind China, and they have double the number of golds. And China was really the one that came out during Beijing and said, okay, this is a new era that we are going to put a focus on the Olympics, and they see the medal count, at least they did 4 years ago, as really a sign of global dominance, of global power, and so that's been a big deal for them. For the American athletes, it seems more like, okay, hey, this is pretty cool if we get medals, but it's not the everything that comes down to that medal count.
All right. Well, Alex Stone, know you got to run. Thank you so much for joining us from London. Appreciate the update.
You got it. Thanks, guys. You have a good day.
You too.
All right. So our question for you is, how have you found the Olympics thus far? I mean, there have been some criticisms of the delays. There were some criticisms that were aimed at the opening ceremony. Some thought that the themes were, very left-leaning, etc. We'd like you to weigh in at 1-888-630-9625. Give us your sense of what you think about it. What did you think about the opening ceremonies? What do you think about this sort of grumbling that has taken place in some quarters about the fact that NBC chooses to delay some of the prime time coverage in a time when social media makes all this information so readily available as it's happening? We'll take your calls coming up in